Okay, well today what I thought I'd do is a demonstration of a cold start on the Model T. If you've seen my previous videos, I've shown you basically the procedure for starting it, but I actually cheated a little bit. The engine was already hot when I did those demonstrations. So what I thought I'd do today is a demonstration from cold and show you how to get the T started. So this could be quite interesting because it doesn't always like to start first time, so we'll see what happens. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is make sure that the key is switched off. We don't want it starting up prematurely and running us over. The other thing we want to do is make sure that the spark is fully retarded, and we just want a little bit of throttle for starting, not too much, otherwise we'll end up flooding the motor. And the other thing we want to do, as you remember, is make sure that the handbrake is all the way back. Now, the other thing we want to do is make sure that the fuel is on. At the moment you can see the fuel is switched off. Now, I apologise for the camera work here. And by the way, I have to use a pair of pliers on that tap. I've got to get around to loosening that up because it's a bit tight at the moment. Okay, so that's the fuel on. Okay, and the next thing we've got to do is check the oil. Now, which, as you know, if you've seen my previous video, that's done underneath the car. So we'll just open up this petcock here, the top one, and if oil drips out, which it does, we've got enough oil in the car. Alright, now we are ready to start. Okay, so we've done our pre-starting checks. We've made sure that the key is off, the handbrake is set, we've turned our fuel on, we've checked our oil. Now we need to prime the engine, which means getting fuel up into the cylinders for starting. And again, if you see my previous video, we have the choke down here on the bottom left hand side of the radiator, that little ring there. And, or if we're electric starting, which we can do with this model, there is a choke, a mechanical choke on the dash as well. Alright, so first we prime the engine. I apologise for my bad camera work, I haven't got the tripod out here today. I'll just sit the camera on a bucket, hopefully you can see that. Hang on a minute. Okay, hopefully I'm not in the way here. So to prime the engine, we pull this wire out like this, and I know I've said in previous videos you never use your right hand, but it's okay when we're priming because the key's off, the engine won't start anyway. Okay, so using the left hand, pull the priming loop out, or the choke rather, lock in the crank and give it 2 or 3 cranks and let go of the choke. And that's now got the fuel into the cylinders ready to start. Okay, I'll just move the camera back a little bit. Now we're ready to start. I'll just close the hood. Now we go around to the cab, we turn the key on, in this case the battery. You can hear the coils are started. And now, let's see how many attempts it really takes to start. Now it's quite a warm day today, so hopefully it shouldn't take too many attempts. Notice I keep my thumb out of the way and I'm using my left hand. Almost. Let's try it. Advance the spark too quick. Let's have another go. And now it's going to magneto. So as you saw, that only took a couple of cranks to get that going. So what we'll do now is I'll back the car out and we'll have a closer look at the engine itself. Okay, well we'll have a look at the engine from both sides. We'll start with the driver's side. Okay, now that's running at that's currently running at minimum. That's idling, but it's about half spark. Now a good indicator of a well-tuned Model T engine is it should still be able to run with the spark fully retarded and on idle, and the engine should still run without coughing and spluttering, which as you can see it does. Now we can, and at the same time it should be able to run at full spark. And we should be able to rev it up with no problems, without it gasping for fuel. Now we're going to have a look at the other side. Again, the engine should be quite happy to run with the spark retarded and the throttle idle. Now that's fully retarded spark and the throttle's idle, and it should be able to run smoothly without stalling, which as you can see is it's running just fine. Now, a couple of key points to remember in order to get your engine to idle nicely on with the spark retarded, is to make sure that your spark plugs are kept clean. Now these ones are Champion A25s. These particular spark plugs have an advantage over modern ones, so, in as much that you can actually take them apart for cleaning, which is something you can't do with modern spark plugs. As you can see, there's you've got the nut at the bottom there where you undo it to take it out of the block, and then you've got another nut above it which is where you actually take the plug apart for cleaning. So it's a really useful feature. All I have to do is take the plugs out, unscrew the top nut there, take them apart, and that reveals the porcelain stem and the center contact inside. And all we have to do is just basically put it in a tub of petrol or gas, and then give it a good scrub with a rag. Don't use anything abrasive, because if you take the shine off of the porcelain, it'll the plug won't work. And the other thing that you need to do is make sure that you keep your timer nice and clean. Now I've got an original Ford roller timer in here. There is another equivalent one which you can use. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. But yeah, no, this one is an original Ford roller timer. It is actually it will actually need to be replaced soon because the contacts inside are getting a little bit worn, which is only normal through use. So there you have it. That's the Ford Model T engine for you. I hope this video has educated you a little bit more, and if you've got any questions, just pop them in the comments or send me an email, and I'll only too happy to help. Catch you next time.